Good morning, part two. Oh, boy. If we were told that you need to know everything about life immediately upon being born, we might feel overwhelmed. And if we were told that you need to read this book and take an examination on this book and pass in order to continue to live, we might feel fearful and not remember as much. Because I think there's been plenty of studies that have shown that in a safe environment where a person feels comfortable to be present, they tend to take in more information and retain it. So I am, in some ways, a stream of data. Maybe we're all just streams of data. And I have, and maybe we have, spirit guides and helpers who they're helping us navigate these changes that we're going through in a world that's going through changes. And how nice to have, for me, my perception, how nice to have a sense of beings, whoever they are for you. You might call them angels. You might call them spirit guides. You might call them helpers. Whatever name that you might give to them, you don't want to lose your mind and just do anything that the voices say. Like, you ought to just jump off a cliff. And I remember as a child saying, like, being asked why I did something. And I said, well, because everybody was doing it. And I remember being asked, would you do it if everybody was jumping off a cliff? And that was supposed to immediately gain access to an answer that would be no. But I said, well, it depends what's under the cliff. If it was water, and I knew that the water was deep enough, and that that's the way my mind goes. What's possible, and oftentimes, what are the chances that I would die from doing this? And if the chances are high, I typically decided, no, I don't want to do this. So I just made a video, and I was going to make a video about the card that we received for today, but instead I made a video about the suit of cards in the tarot deck related to swords, related to the mind. But I did it, partway through, I did it from the heart. So now I'm just going to go through as succinctly as possible and read to you from the book, Finding the Fool, about the Ace of Swords, which was the card that was picked through me by my guide, Arlen. So you can believe it or not, and Arlen might say, well, wait a second, you picked that card, which is true. My hand of my body picked the card. So Arlen's saying, why are you blaming it on me? Why can't you just take responsibility for picking this card? And I might say, well, we could have these conversations between the voices in our head, which we all do. I really feel like I want a donut. You really shouldn't eat donut. You know, the voices. You have a problem with gluten, or you have a problem with fat, or you have a problem with being fat. So you really shouldn't have the donut. But I'll feel emotionally, I'll feel a lot better if I have the donut. These things go on in our heads. Maybe not your head, which I just say, nice, good for you. These are all, should I stay or should I go now? Should I start reading and quit yapping? That seems good. So I think I'll go with that currently. Because really what I'm offering to you is crazy wisdom, which is a store that existed when I arrived in this town of Ann Arbor in 1980. It was a small bookstore owned by a witch. And then the witch sold it to a gentleman who then took the store, took it from a little storefront, took it into Main Street, and took this 2-story building and just transformed the place into a meeting place, a meeting of the mind, a meeting of the heart. You can look it up. His name is Bill, and I think his wife's name is Ruth. And they have quite a story. They have quite a story about their, I would hope it would be in the book, about their loves and their losses, about their child who had, I believe, who had some genetic disturbance that he eventually passed away from. And we'll see if that has these. This is the way life works for me. I look over and I see crazy wisdom, which is the bookstore that I bought the book, Finding the Fool, by Meg Jones Wall. And may this book be an introductory book for you to the world of tarot. May you find this book in some bookstore, and may you buy it, because the words are so good. And the person who wrote this is so real. And she talks about herself and her life. There's a wonderful video that I watched about her. I'll let you research it for yourself. I love her very much. So the card we got today, whether I picked it, which I did pick it on a physical level, but I asked Arlen to assist with the picking of it, and if he won't take any responsibility for it, that's fine too. It can be all on me. The Ace of Swords. So in the deck, in the tarot deck, the ace is 1. And there's an Ace of Swords, there's an Ace of Cups, there's an Ace of Wands, there's an Ace of Discs, Pentacles. The swords are about the mind. So the Ace of Swords is 1. And 1 is motivation, confidence, independence, vision, trailblazing. So this is what I am offering to you to think about. This was offered to me from my guide for me to think about. I'm bringing you into it and offering for you to think about it. Starting off, number 1, unless you think of 0 as a number, and 0 is the number of the Fool, and the book we're reading is Finding the Fool? Yeah, Finding the Fool. And if you are a fool, or you want to be a fool, then you can have a shirt made up saying, "We're number 0. We're number 0. We're number 0." And if you had a team, You could chant, we're number 0, we're number 0. And number 0 is the beginning. And sometimes the number 0 is the end. And the number 1, which is what we're talking about today, is motivation, confidence, independence, vision, and trailblazing. The Ace of Swords is about air, which air is logic, pragmatism, information, communication, knowledge, and it's associated with the mind. The key words for this Ace of Swords are sharp truth, sudden insight, clarity, awareness, recognition, a new idea or vision, which I think is my perception is very useful to have at this time. A new idea or vision and feelings towards how we want the world to be for us. That you could just think of the words that you would associate with the world you want to live in. The first word that comes to me is safe. And you'd say, well, the world, you might say, somebody else might say something different, but you might say, well, the world doesn't feel safe to me. It's not about, on some levels, it's not about what the world feels safe to us. I'm speaking about vision. Can you hold in your consciousness the world that you want to live in without it being there quite yet? I want to live in a world where I choose, because if I choose it, it makes it more now. If I want it, it makes it more in the future. So if you say, I want something, you're going to put it in the future, and if you keep wanting it, you're going to keep putting it in the future. If you choose, you're bringing it more into the present. So I choose a world that is safe. I choose a world that is peaceful. I choose a world that is kind, caring, supportive. I choose a world that feels like it cares about everyone. The key words for the Ace of Swords are sharp truth, sudden insight, clarity, awareness, recognition, a new idea or vision. In the process of examination, sometimes we make exciting discoveries. We're looking at something that we've studied in depth, but suddenly our perspective shifts. An unexpected truth piercing through our awareness in a way that we cannot ignore or deny. Our newfound clarity has a ripple effect, inspiring a hunger to re-examine everything, to ponder what we know and what we don't know, to question and pursue and scrutinize. This powerful desire to understand, this recognition of fresh knowledge and shifting viewpoints, is the sharp magic of the Ace of Swords. This powerful desire to understand, this recognition of fresh knowledge and shifting viewpoints, is the sharp magic of the Ace of Swords. Sometimes we get a glimpse of truth so dramatic, a rush of insight so intense that we cannot possibly ignore what we've learned. An important fact clicks into place. Our perspective shifts just enough to reveal an elusive answer. An offhand comment causes our minds to reassemble information in a new way. In these moments, we are channeling the power of the Ace of Swords. I'm going to be listening to this video multiple times. It's going, and I'll be saying, thank you, Arlen. This is a good one. Once again. It may be a theory or notion that changes our trajectory, alters our reality, or pushes us to adjust and move forward with a new sense of determination and ambition. In this crackle of lightning, you feel that? This crackle of lightning, everything changes. The Ace of Swords challenges our assumptions, which at times are sharp and energizing, and some other moments feel heavy, awkward, even overwhelming. Sometimes we may struggle to process this realization, may even wish that we could forget or ignore what we have discovered. It's not always clear where this path will lead, but in spite of our uncertainties, this ace prompts a desire for new revelations, pushing us to ask difficult questions, examine things with fresh eyes, initiate hard conversations. Aces and ones always begin new journeys. Do you wish for yourself a new journey? And with the Suit of Swords, we are challenging assumptions. And you best be ready for this. I'm just telling you. You best be ready for this, to challenge all of your assumptions. Much better than challenging other people's assumptions. Challenge your assumptions. Pushing our intellectual self past our natural limits, in identifying an issue or obstacle that we hope to conquer or accept. Where other aces may feel inspiring, exciting, or generative, the Ace of Swords can be intimidating. It represents a mentally rigorous task, a demanding energy, a test of our strength and courage. And I feel like I'm in that right now. Thank you, Arlen. Thanks for helping me to realize what I'm in right now is a test of my strength and courage. And I'm kind of holding myself, holding that place where I've trapped my power, and slowly, if necessary, slowly letting that power come up. And it may come up in the form of anger. It may come up in the form of rage. It may come up in the form of criticism. It may come up in any form related to the awakening of strength, awakening of power. That is what's awakening right now, is power. And right now it may be for many coming out in anger. Let's let it come out, but let's not spew it over everyone within a 1 mile radius. Let's just let the power up, us integrate that power, and then take a look at it with others in kindness. Ace of Swords is rarely playful, but instead requires scrutiny, assessment, and careful evaluation. Yet we may also find a curious desire stirring within us, a kind of invigoration that we can't deny. Our eyes have been opened, a new path extends before us, and in following this line of questioning, the possibilities of all that we may discover feel endless and infinite. In readings, the Ace of Swords asks us to really grapple with the truth of what we have learned and consider what may come next. When a new idea strikes, when our viewpoints shift, it's a chance for us to interpret our experiences, to imagine something different than we have always known. Growth is happening. Change is occurring, whether we like it or not. And as we adjust our grip on this unfamiliar blade, we need to remember that this sword is both a tool and a weapon. So this is a prompt for what you can do with this information. It's called her journal prompt. And she says, what opportunities are emerging that may push you to question and reconsider old assumptions? How do you handle a paradigm shift? What are you curious about? And what do you feel pulling you into a full investigation? The Two of Swords, my gift to you from my guide, Arlen. May it serve us all well, or may it serve us all right. Now must go. It's a delight to be with you. Something good is happening. May we all represent peace.